It's a game day, baby. New York Jets, Indianapolis Colts. What the hell is going to happen at 1 o'clock? Not Sunday Night Football. 1 o'clock, elite dad time. What is going to happen in this game? We're going to break it all down here on a game day edition of Boy Green Daily. Folks, let's get this party started right now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Boy Green Daily, and this is my son, PE3, baby. Paul Andrew Eston III, and he's wearing all the Jets gear. He's awake, mostly because of the studio lights that are blasting into his little brain, but here he is, PE3. Say hello to the universe. Universe, say hello to PE3, baby. Look at you. All right, and let's welcome in our special guest today. No, not Woody. We had to call an audible at the line of scrimmage. But we're bringing someone else from that same family. That is none other. Get my other hand here. The Eston Zone. We're all three of us on the camera together. Let me adjust so we can move the Boy Green. What's up, Pop?
3 generations rocking out.
Yeah, it's amazing. And PE3. Oh, look at him. Let's see, Simba.
Whoa, easy, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. Whoa, easy there, fella.
That neck is like a floppy disk at this point.
That is. It's we're going around town. That's what's happening here.
Gotta be careful.
He's just a handsome little guy, that's for sure. So we wanted to introduce him. Beautiful fiance is off camera because all the feeding and everything that'll be going on, and he is eyes alert. Just so here we are for a Jets Colts game day, baby. I wanted to introduce PE3, our son, who's now here. And he's in all his Jets gear, ready to watch his first Jets game, baby. Can't wait. We'll see if it's a good one here shortly.
Is he too early for that level of trauma? Is he too young?
I guess we'll find out. There we go. A proper handoff. See, that's a handoff. No turnovers there. That was a clean handoff. We'd all be proud of that one. And yes, everybody, welcome to the show. And shout out to my beautiful fiance. She said, hey, is it time to introduce him on the show? I'm like, hell yeah, baby. PE3. Gosh. PE3. It's just so great to have him home. So great to have him home.
It's great to see him. Your lovely mother and grandmother of P3 is also on, so shout out to my lovely wife.
Beautiful. And also my aunt, she's on Twitter, Mandy. Okay, there you go, Aunt Mandy. He's so cute, so everyone's enjoying it. Thank you, God bless. And shout out to MFC for gifting a channel membership in honor of PE3. Oh yeah, baby. We love it. Let's keep spreading all the wonderful Boy Green Coffee Club memberships, which, by the way, currently is the pinned message on YouTube. If you'd like to join the Boy Green Coffee Club, you get a good laugh, you like the information, whatever the case, you enjoy the show, feel free to do so, and you guys can join right there. It's always available, whether you're watching live or after the fact. It's always available in the YouTube description down below. And our new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club is GM. Welcome to the Boy Green Coffee Club, my friend. We appreciate you. And let's get the banner going. We're now 23 members away. Thank you to MFC from Phil getting his emoji. So God bless and thank you. Also, shout out to you, Pop. Thanks for popping on the show today. We appreciate it once again.
Audible. Here I am at the Portland airport. I had to fight a lot of people to get in through the airport, through security. It took me 30 seconds from when I stepped into the security line till I had my bag on the other side. So
is that because
the struggle is real?
Is that because it was Paul Eston Sr. and there's a private security detail and, armored vehicles and that sort of thing bringing you through? Is that why you met little to no traction there?
That is right. They recognized the VIP, and here I was. And I said, I got to get on the Boy Green morning show, daily show, Let's go. And by the way,
Yeah.
while you're joining the Boy Green Coffee Club, there's
Sure.
nothing better to drink your coffee in than a Hop
Mhm.
on Pop coffee cup wearing some bacon, boron, whatever gear you want. There's plenty of gear there. Make sure you get it.
Yeah, the official Boy Green merch store is down below. If you guys would like to get involved there, that can help support the show. And also, when you do, make sure you guys tag me on social media at BoyGreen25. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'd love to reshare it. So please do so. One question coming in here immediately. We'll also give you guys an injury report and get you ready for a game day of Jets Colts today at 1 o'clock. Jetted out tweets out, or YouTube's out, excuse me. We still don't have a kicker. Yes, once again, the Jets lost Spencer Schrader earlier this week. He was on the practice squad. The Chiefs signed him off of the practice squad. So Spencer Schrader is now the starting kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Harrison Butker went to IR. The Jets' only other kicker they had on the roster, and it's not even the 53-man roster, is Anders Carlson, who is on their practice squad. For this game, he was elevated, which again, the Jets are, I wrote a story about this yesterday, the Jets are once again opening the door. If Anders is great, which, by the way, he's not missed a field goal yet this season, if he looks great and another team needs a kicker, they're sweet, Anders, and then the Jets will be left with no kicker. So I'm not really sure what the game plan is here. He's elevated for this game, so obviously they have a kicker for the Colts game, and then they head into their bye. But they didn't sign him to the 53-man roster. So if he looks awesome today, another team could poach him after the game, because when you elevate a guy, he temporarily is on the roster. Then after the game, he reverts back to the practice squad, and he'll leave the door open to get got. So I don't know what the Jets are doing there, but it does seem a little bizarre. So yes, thank you for that question.
Bizarre? Bizarre?
Yeah,
so fool me once, whatever. But they are, I don't even know what the word is anymore. The only interesting thing is they're playing a franchise that truly may be as dysfunctional as they are. They may be the two most dysfunctional franchises in football, and that's the Colts and the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, yes. The fact that they were so befuddled, quite frankly, after what transpired this week that lost them the kicker in the first place, like, oh, not ideal. Not sure what happened there. But they would be willing to do it again. It does seem a bit bizarre, I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, very strange. But let's quickly get into an injury report right off the top. Before we do, gifted membership, Lee Van getting in on the action, baby. Okay. Oh, yeah, baby. And now we are one of my dad's favorite numbers away for Phil. We are the legendary 22 members away from Phil getting his emoji. Shout out to Marty McFly 0292. You're now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Jared B already dropped the Discord link that all members to the Boy Green Coffee Club get access for free to the Discord. That is an additional benefit, additional perk you get for being a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. So shout out to Lee Van, baby. Thanks for spreading the gospel of all things Boy Green Daily here.
The all-time leading rusher in the NFL, Emmitt frickin' Smith.
Not sure when that's ever going down, but,
That's never going down. That's never going to happen. But speaking of all time, and back to our days when we were writing for the Central New York Sports Beat,
sure.
Right? The Something in the Water came back and smacked the stupid out of Miocic last night and dominated him. He really just toyed with him until the third round. They said, you know what? I'm done with your ass. Jon Jones, and still.
Very nice. Yeah, we got to give a shout out to Jon Jones. Nice back kick on Stipe Miocic. He collapsed like a used lawn chair. And it was just kind of weird. Stipe Miocic is on his hands and knees. The ref is like, and then Jon Jones is like, all right. And then pummels. The ref's like, oh, good Lord. Yeah, ref, what are we doing, man? For God's sake. He went to his hands and he was just looking up at him like, huh? And then Jon Jones
after
like,
Jon Jones, his only, and I didn't even call it defeat. I would call it defeat by the ref, right? So every time now when he's beating the crap out of somebody, he'll look at the ref. Are we good now, or do I keep going? So every you watch it, past couple fights,
which was illegal. Yeah, correct. Right. Yeah.
You look at all his recent fights, and he's always looking at the ref. More, okay. He's never going to lose that way again.
Yeah, the only shame, unfortunately, for Jon Jones, obviously, I think he's the greatest mixed martial artist of all time. Obviously, from around here, Endicott, New York, and his entire family. Arthur Jones won a Super Bowl. Chandler Jones, I'm pretty sure he won a Super Bowl too.
He
So,
did.
like,
Both
the
Super Bowl
entire
champions.
yeah, they've all had all this winning. It's a shame all the off the octagon issues. Jon Jones could have been fighting more over this time, this lapse in time, which is terrific. Another membership coming in. They're just raining in now. I love it. Let's get the positive energies ahead of Jets Colts. Jared B. Boom shakalaka. We love to see it, baby. I love you guys all doing that for PE3. Super cool. Raziel the Great. You are now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club, and we are moving and grooving. So sorry, Emmett Smith didn't last very long. We're on to primetime. LaDainian Tomlinson, perhaps. A lot of great 2-1s in history. Could go there. Jared B. Shout out to you, my friend. Thanks for spreading the gospel of Boy Green Daily here. We appreciate you. So beautiful. And also shout out to Lee Van, who gifted us a membership. He is heading over to Jet Life right now for Jets Colts. So shout out to everybody who's heading over. Who's heading over for the game. We appreciate it. So thanks, Lee. Shout out. Cheers to the BG family on my way to Jet Live. So enjoy it, guys. Jets Colts. I saw the tickets were as cheap as $20 for the game. So they're probably even cheaper now on game day. So go enjoy it. Absolutely. If I lived closer, I'd be trying to get in on that action too. But quickly, let's get the injury report out of the way here. For the Jets, I got 3 players that have already been ruled out for the game. That is Jake Hansen, Tyron Smith, C.J. Mosley. Obviously, Jake Hansen has been a fill-in. The Jets starting 5 had been there. So Jake Hansen wouldn't have played anyway, even if he was healthy today. Tyron Smith out. He's dealing with a neck. Seems a little scary, so hopefully they get continued good news for Tyron Smith's health. But this does open the door for Olu Fashanu to get his first career start at left tackle. He has played all over the place. Played a little right guard when the Jets have needed it. He's played right tackle in a couple of games. But now the future of left tackle starts today for the New York Jets with Olu Fashanu getting the start. C.J. Mosley is out for his 4th straight game. He's also dealing with some scary neck stuff himself, which is always concerning, so we'll keep our thoughts out for him. Solomon Thomas and Devontae Adams are questionable. Ian Rappaport already reported this morning that Devontae Adams is expected to play despite the questionable tag, and we'll keep an eye on Solomon Thomas.
Is it a hamstring thing?
For who?
Devontae. Is hamstring bothering him again now that
it was
the Jets have lost a few?
It was an illness, apparently, that he was dealing with. But I appreciate your.
He's waiting for his next trade or deal on his way out.
Oh, there it is. There it is. For the Colts, no Bernard Raymond today. That means the Colts will be starting 3 rookies on the offensive line. Ryan Kelly is on IR. Trevor Dendo, their safety and center, are both placed on injured reserve, so they're both out. And then Braden Smith and EJ Speed are questionable for the contest. We'll keep an eye out for that from the Indianapolis Colts perspective. Before we go any further, we got a YouTube Super Chat coming in. Every time we get a YouTube Super Chat, we hear from my daughter, Zariah Luna. Eventually, we might have to get something for PE3. But for now, wow. Hear me out. Love it. One of our OG, supporters of the show a long time ago. I'll go ahead and cement my prior prediction that Aaron Rodgers will never win an AFC NFC championship. Hearts out for my Jets brothers. Well, he did win an NFC championship once when they went to the Super Bowl and they won it. But I get what your point is. Is that, perhaps they're not going to reach the heights that a lot of people thought they would, and we'll see what happens. I was just reading from Rich Samini this morning. Aaron Rodgers is kind of lukewarm on his someone asked him, hey, are you going to play next year? He's like, yeah, I think so. So that's not overly convincing, but all the reports seem to suggest that it will probably be Aaron Rodgers. But that it's also a little forward of me to say that because we don't know who the head coach is. Well, what if the head coach is Blee Blah Blue, who doesn't want Aaron Rodgers? So I guess I can't say it with any strong conviction, but my gut would say that Aaron Rodgers is back because the other options are not great. Rich Samini highlighted some of them. The 2 clear starters, like they're starting quarterbacks they're hitting free agency, are Sam Darnold and Russell Wilson. I don't know if the Jets are going in either of those directions. And then you got a bunch of mid guys, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, random guys, or the draft. So it really limits the potential replacement options for old A-Rod there. Dad, I think I know where you're at, but I might as well ask you since we have the Super Chat here. Aaron Rodgers in 2025 or one of those other options I mentioned?
It's time for the Jets to move on before they lose all of this young talent. He needs to move on. I was thinking about it last night. What would you have said when they signed Aaron Rodgers that you would have quantified that was a successful signing? So what would it have been? Would it have been a playoff win? I know the answer. I hope you don't
Super
change
Bowl,
the
baby.
answer.
It's
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl.
win. So it is unlikely that he is bringing them a Super Bowl. It is time to cut bait and move on before you continue to lose these players. Another year goes by. The contract's going to roll on for these younger players. You're not going to be able to keep them all. It's a problem. And he's played like crap.
Okay, but who is your better answer? I just gave you all the available options.
Sam Darnold's a better answer.
Oh, geez. Does Sam want to come back?
I think Sam would go if he was offered and you wouldn't have to pay him the $60 million a year. You'd have to pay him a decent wage. You probably have to pay him what you're paying Aaron now.
Yeah, which is going to be hovering around 30 million, give or take.
I think that's what you could get him for, maybe 30 to 40 million, right?
Yeah.
Which is still cheap for a starting top half of the league NFL quarterback. And Aaron's not that anymore. He's not in the top half of the league anymore.
Well,
And that's why my moniker below is he needs to step up. Right, this game, win or loss, it'll be on Aaron Rodgers. He's going against one of the worst pass defense in the league. He's out of excuses. He's been giving everything he's wanted, and now it's time for him to just frickin' deliver.
I'd love to get some more use out of my Sam Darnold jersey in the closet, so I wouldn't be totally opposed, but we'll see if that is something that obviously Darnold himself would be willing to do. That would be kind of interesting. And, hear me out, which another YouTube super chat here.
Wow.
He said that after Aaron Rodgers had already made his one Super Bowl, like, that's it, buddy, you're not again. And so far you've been right, hear me out. So shout out to you for Aaron Rodgers. Incredibly talented, but obviously with all of his opportunities, there's been a lot of wild things that have happened for sure. But yeah, so what will happen here for the Jets is Aaron Rodgers is under contract for next season, for those who don't know. And there's no guaranteed money, so the Jets could get out of it if they wanted to. But if they bring him back in, I have it here from Rich. Let me make sure I read it appropriately here so you guys have all the contractual details of this. Yeah, so he has a manageable cap charge of $23.5 million if they went back to Rodgers. So $23.5 million on the cap, which is totally reasonable, of course, for a starting quarterback. And I mean, more than reasonable. Think about this, and this isn't meant as a joke or anything to my father, but Dak Prescott's making $60 million a year, so Aaron Rodgers is half that by cap charge. So from a financial perspective, technically that could work. But so this Colts team is 4-6, Pop. They've lost 3 in a row. They lost to Houston, Minnesota, and Buffalo in the last 3 games. They said that Joe Flacco was basically going to be the starter for the rest of the season after the Anthony Richardson issues. And then there's been an abrupt change. And now Anthony Richardson is a guy, not only for this game, but he's now the guy for the rest of the season. So very herky-jerky in nature here. And when you look at the statistics for old, Anthony Richardson here, they haven't been great. There's just no other way to put it. Yeah, I mean, he's been terrible. He's even worse than what I talked to you about yesterday. I said, look at his 50% completion percentage. He's got a 44.4% completion percentage. That's god-awful. He has more interceptions and touchdowns. He's got 7 picks to only 4 passing touchdowns on the season. So his passing numbers are incredibly underwhelming, but where he gets you is on the rushing. He has 242 yards rushing this season. That's second on the team, and that's only in 6 games. He's averaging 5.9 per clip. He's also scored a rushing touchdown as well, so you can factor that into the mix. Well, again, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but that mesh point with Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor, that could be incredibly dangerous. Jonathan Taylor, by the way, has over 600 yards rushing on the season, 5 touchdowns, and he's averaging 5 yards a clip. He's a dynamic running back. I got to imagine they got to be licking their chops as they look at this Jets run defense.
Yeah, I just wouldn't let the Colts quarterback, I would just tell him, you're not going to pass. You're going to audible. You can audible from the halfback power to the pitch to the screen pass, or those 3. Those are your 3 plays. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Right. And
so
I stress
the Giants-Jets game from last year where Tommy DeVito could not pass. Brian Daboll wouldn't let him, and that was the Jets-Giants overtime game?
Yes, except the fact that the Jets defense was good back then.
Oh.
And it was an incredibly low-scoring game. I go back to what I said yesterday. It's all about the contain, so you got to figure out how to stop the running back. But for the quarterback not to light you up, right? That's a pretty significant amount of yardage for only playing half a dozen games. And the Colts running back missed a month and is at 600 yards just for the fact. So,
Yeah, let me see. What was he at on games? So, yeah, 7 games for him. So he missed 3 games, it looks like. Yeah.
Right. And so if it wasn't for King Henry, we'd be talking about this being the best running back in the league, right up there, right?
Wow, yeah. Yeah, he'd be up there. Saquon's been really good too, but yeah, no, that's a good conversation.
Yeah, but how do they stack up with the fact that he's played, and not quite half the games?
That's fair. That's fair on the stat, right? Because you have to. I guess you don't have to, but I mean, out of respect, you could go the other way and say factor in rushing statistics in terms of games played and rushing yards per game. That's
just under 100 rushing yards per game.
Yeah, let's see. Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor on the season with his games played, he's averaging 88 rushing yards per game. The two that are above him in that average is Saquon Barkley, who's averaged 113 rushing yards per game, and Derrick Henry's averaged 112. So those would be the two above him, but he would be third in the league in rushing yards per game.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really it. I wouldn't let him pass the ball for anything. Maybe a play action, and if no one's within 20 yards of the receiver, you may throw. Otherwise, tuck and run.
That might be for the best because Anthony Richardson has fumbled 5 times on the season, and then he has those 7 picks. So 12 turnover-ish kind of plays in a very limited sample size. You look at those games, that is what the Jets will be looking for. The Jets have here's the trivia time for you, Pop. Okay, the Jets have on the season. Okay, they have 2 interceptions. Okay, only 2 picks all year on the season. The question for you is, who has those interceptions? Turn off the tribute.
Yeah, I would say I think DJ Reed has 1.
Okay, that's incorrect.
And
it's one guy. One guy has both picks.
Is that Fatty's brother there?
Who? Quincy?
Yes.
No, it is not Quincy.
Nope. All right, I give up.
Okay. Trivia music cut. It's Brandon Eccles, our backup cornerback. Somehow he is the one with both picks. He's come in sparing opportunities and immediately has made plays every time he's been called upon. So it's kind of embarrassing, though, because as Rich Cimini notes, here's an embarrassing statistic. I love hearing those. Who doesn't love hearing embarrassing statistics on the New York Jets? Hopefully they can clean some of this up. Here, the Jets only have 2 interceptions on the season, which Cimini described as mind-boggling when you consider the amount of talent. There are 16 players in the NFL that have more than 2 interceptions, including the Steelers' Beanie Bishop Jr., who got 2 of his 3 picks against the Jets. Obviously, that was doing that against Aaron Rodgers, which happened as well in that game. So, not great, Bob. Not great. But anywho, the other one I wanted to present is this Colts defense is incredibly opportunistic. They create a lot of turnovers themselves. They have 17 takeaways on the season. That's 6th most in the NFL. So the Jets are going to have to mind their P's and Q's because this Colts defense has done a very, very nice job at creating turnovers. So Jets don't want to help him out. That would help out Anthony Richardson, I would imagine, giving him a lot of short fields. By the way, another new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, our number 1 Austrian Jets fan, baby. There's no question about it. We are now 20 members away from Phil getting it, baby. 20, the great Thomas Jones, perhaps, the brother of Julius Jones. Maybe he is the guy that gets some love here in the 2-0 as we're getting closer and closer to Phil. And our new member, by the way, to the Boy Green Coffee Club, shout out to Florida Man of Culture. You are now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. We love to friggin' see it, baby. Thank you.
Thomas Jones, are you talking about the leading rusher for the AFC that the Jets cut the next year? That Thomas Jones?
Yeah, he fell off a cliff then, so I guess the Jets
they cut him after leading the AFC in rushing.
Yep, yeah. His 3-year stretch with the Jets was one of the most productive 3-year stretch for a running back all time. Yeah. Pretty good. But
anyways, I have a statistical question for you.
Okay.
I got a question for you, trivia question. I did it when I was researching for the show yesterday.
All right.
It's a option A or B.
Okay.
Who has a better career playoff winning percentage? Joe
All right.
Flacco or Aaron Rodgers?
Come on.
No, it's a question. Who is it? You can
The
say
only
it.
let
You
me
can
just say
say it.
this. The
You
only
can
reason
say
you'd
it.
be asking this question, you would be propping up Aaron Rodgers. So I imagine Joe Flacco is the answer. Jets
That's
legend
correct.
Joe Flacco. Yeah.
That's correct. That's correct.
Oh, how
I
big
didn't
is the
want. I
gap?
don't want. Joe Flacco is above 60%, 63%. Aaron's in the mid 50s.
Oh, okay. Well, still,
Just
that's a
10%. Not a big deal.
okay. That's a good statistic. All right, let's go to another YouTube super chat. Hear me out, baby. Okay, I appreciate all the support on the programs. All right, Lena?
Wow.
At least you don't have three elite wide receivers with Geno under center on every snap, which it's its own special kind of hell to watch as a fan at Green Boy. Yeah, because Hear Me Out is a Seattle Seahawks fan. And when I was doing these shows, I used to do it in my living room over there on my leather couch. That was nice. We did all the shows from there. And Hear Me Out was one of my like 5 listeners on the show. We were banging it out back in the day, and it was awesome. So thank you for that. But that's true. You have all those crazy players under Geno, but we'll get our shot at you. Hear me out, because we have Jets Seahawks after the bye, 1:00 game. Another former Jets quarterback somehow casting his revenge. But we did get to see me and my dad. We saw Seahawks Falcons. That was a fun game. A lot of scoring. That's what I was looking for. I had no real skin in the game. That's what I was looking for when we were there in Atlanta for that Seahawks Falcons game. That was fun. That's like I said, exactly what I was hoping for. It was a lot of points, and there was a lot of big plays on both sides. It was a really, really fun game to go to. Really, really fun.
That was great.
All right, so I appreciate that YouTube super chat. Thank you so much. Hear me out. Again, you guys can send in your super chats or memberships. Feel free to keep the train rolling. We've been on quite a run on the show today. We appreciate it as we continue our Jets Colts game day preview, baby. 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Again, this is a 1:00 game. They took us out of Sunday Night Football, and it's probably best for everybody. I enjoy the Sunday Night Football broadcast, but with how the Jets, unfortunately, have been performing, I don't blame them for making that decision from that standpoint. Now, Pop, as we look at things here with this Jets team, I think, well, I guess let me not assume. It's okay. The Colts are 4-6. The Jets are 3-7. Do you believe right now, there's 7 games remaining for the New York Jets, do you think there is any path, whether unlikely or not, that they can make the playoffs, or do you think their flame is already snuffed?
I mean, there's obviously a path that if they won
maybe
out,
not. In 2015, the Jets won 10 games and missed the playoffs. So that's
if they won all their games, they'd have a shot. They'd have a shot at the apple. There's a lot of great. One of the divisions in the AFC is, probably going to take 2, if not 3 of the wild cards. So I don't know. It'll be tough. They'd have to win them all. But I would tell you that based on what we've seen week in, week out, the answer is no. Right? If they come out today and do what they should do, if Aaron Rodgers throws to his, roommate, Devontae Adams, if he, throws it to Conklin, if Brees Hall busts out in the passing game, if they do what they're capable of, if they do what their talent says they should be able to do, and they moderately stop the run, because their pass defense is awesome, right? So you take the risk it for the biscuit, right? You load the box and you let your cornerbacks eat, and then there is a chance to win. Unfortunately, they haven't shown any of that. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's for sure. That is the issue. Now, according to the analytics, the Jets have a 10% chance of making the playoffs. So you're saying there's a chance is what the analytics say. Now, I have the standings in front of me. The Jets are currently 11th in the AFC. Okay. They're 11th in the AFC. There's 7 teams that make the playoffs, and here are the teams in front of the Jets. You have the Dolphins. You play them twice, so you will have your own destiny controlled from that perspective. So you have Cincinnati at 9. You don't play Cincinnati, so put them aside. You play Indianapolis. They're 4-6. They're in the 8th hole. They're right outside the playoffs. So by beating them, you get the head-to-head tiebreaker. That is critically important. And then 7 is the Broncos. Now you lost to the Broncos, which means you cannot finish with the same record as Denver, or you'll be kicked out if they stay at 7, obviously, because there's 3 wild card spots. But if you stay as currently constructed, and then above them, not that I really, if you're the Jets, I don't know if you can really afford to look above them. You have the Texans, but they're currently the division crown leader, so your head-to-head tiebreaker means nothing over them. And then you have the LA Chargers. They're 6-3. They look a little far out from the New York Jets. So really, the only one you can really stare at is that final wild card spot, which again the Broncos are 5-5. So basically, the Jets would have to win out. I don't see it with 9 wins. Some other people do. I do not. I think it's 10 wins, and now you have no margin for obviously already having 7 losses on the season. So this Colts one, you get head-to-head, all of a sudden you have some good vibes heading into the bye, which could be possible, and see if the Jets can get healthy here and go on a run. Now, Dad, I see it underneath. So we see Esden zone. Okay, I'm quite familiar with the term, but underneath, time for A-Rod to step up. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, but do tell. It sounds like that's your key to the game here. If the Jets are going to go on this crazy run, or let alone for this game in particular today.
Yeah, I mean, with the Colts defense, weakest point being the passing defense, then you got to light it up. You got to have a plan. You got to, Garrett has really come along, has really stepped up after his beginning of the season struggles. Now it's time for Devontae. It's the oddest part about all of this is, that Devontae and Aaron haven't been, lockstep. That's odd to me. I don't understand it. That they haven't used Conklin more. I don't understand it. And, and I would have that 2 or 3 plays for Corley in there. I'd run that reverse 4 times this game and only hand it to him once, because you got to do something different with your defense. When you put Corley in motion, you've got to figure out what you're going to do. Are you going to switch out of zone? You're going to go to man? Like, what are you going to do? Because that causes confusion and issues. And I know that Ron's not big on motion, but I'm telling you, having that reverse there, running it, maybe not 4 times, maybe that's a lot, but 3 times a game, that's going to create some opportunities for Wilson and Devontae and then even Conklin. So it's time for him to step up. He's, he wants, he's going to the Hall of Fame. Is he going to go there? Like, unfortunately, some of the other great quarterbacks from the Jets have gone, limping into the Hall of Fame after the past couple of years. I mean, the last couple of years of their career, or is he going to, show up and show out? And today's his day. There's no excuses. If he doesn't today, then I don't know. But he has looked slow, indecisive. He hasn't thrown the ball down the field. I don't know how many times, but he hasn't thrown that ball down the field longer than 20 yards, I don't know, in 4 or 5, 6 games. I mean, I don't know what's going on outside of the Hail Mary at the end of the half.
In Buffalo, that was back in week 6. Yeah. We're a week
shy of that.
11 now, so.
I think that was the last time he threw the ball down the field more than 20 yards.
Yeah, probably the only other one was a Devontae Adams pot shot, Houston Texans touchdown on like 4th and 2 or 3. That one was like a 50-yard bomb to Devontae Adams. He ended up being wide open. He created separation. But no, I can't cherry pick or nitpick what you're saying. You're absolutely correct. He has not consistently traveled the ball. Think about the Week 10 Cardinals game. One pass, went over 10 air yards, and that was a pass to his running back, Breece Hall. So, yeah, there just hasn't been those shots, unfortunately. To your point, here are the statistics for Indianapolis, who has the 5th worst pass defense in the league. They're allowing 2,384 yards this season. That is 5th worst in the NFL. And when you look at the numbers per game, that's 238.4 per game. So, yeah, if there was an area to attack, you would certainly think that it would certainly be pass defense for the New York Jets. I think, of course, they're going to try to run the football. And if they do, guess what? The Colts are the 3rd worst rush defense in football. They've allowed 1,483 rushing yards. That is 3rd worst in the NFL. So quick, run, pass, trick play. Sounds like everything's available. This Colts defense has been incredibly leaky. So the Jets could run, they could pass. We could see a little bit of everything. And that would be nice, because obviously the key to taking some of those deeper level concepts and deep shots is protecting Aaron Rodgers at the point of attack. And if you can run the ball, let's see some play action, for goodness sake. We haven't seen a lot of that this season. I thought that was going to be a trademark of this Rodgers Jets offense.
Pound the rock with Agent Zero, right? Breece, take a little break, right? Let's stop running Breece between the guards. If we could stop doing that, that'd be phenomenal.
Brees has been doing pretty good. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
double check our numbers here on old Brees, but I thought Brees has been rushing quite well since it's maybe right before that Pittsburgh game, I think, is when we've been seeing it for Brees, who has been doing quite well. The Brees game, he didn't run very well, but he received the ball quite well. He was doing quite well in the receiving game. Yeah, let's see the game log here for Brees on a week-to-week basis. So let's see. So yeah, it's about so we'll start on that Buffalo game. That was week 6. He had 113 yards rushing. Again, Pittsburgh, he didn't have a great day rushing, but he had over 100 yards receiving. And they had 80 yards rushing against New England, very nice. 74 yards against Houston, very nice. The yards per carry were very nice. And then Arizona had 52 yards, which was a 5.2 per clip. But the carries just weren't enough. It's kind of weird that the Jets didn't kind of lean a little bit more toward that. So Brees has been pretty good with rushing the football, but I agree. Since Todd Downing's taken over, Braylon Allen has like disappeared from the offense. I don't really understand. Maybe he's not the mini Derrick Henry we all overhyped him to be after some Tennessee Titan success and a few others, but I feel like he could be a usable piece for this team. I absolutely think he could. For sure. So, yeah, the Colts defense is for Dakota, who asked above. Let me put that comment up there. What is the Colts defense ranked? Again, the 3rd worst rush defense in football. They're the 5th worst pass defense. So they're terrible all over the board. Statistically speaking, they have not performed well. That's just the easiest way to put it from that perspective. Now, they've done pretty decent in points per game. They're not at least top 5 in that category. They're allowing 22 points per game, which isn't great, but it's like middle of the pack in the NFL. So they've been good of not allowing a ton of points. But it looks like the Jets could have their way with picking what they are. But I think you're right from Devontae. Outside of the Texans game, there just hasn't been a lot of meat on the Devontae Adams bone from that perspective. But, Pop, you already said it yesterday, but let's wrap up there. Why don't you reshare your Jets-Colts prediction from yesterday?
Yeah, and I'd like to be happy to be wrong, and that's why my down below time for Aaron to start slinging that ball around,
Sure.
pretending that it's a decade past. But, yeah, they haven't shown it yet. I think it's 21-17 Colts. I'd like to be wrong, but, I just there's no reason to believe it's going to be any different.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. I'll just share mine before we get out of here. And I think the Jets are winning this game. And I think the switch from Anthony Richardson, or to Anthony Richardson, rather, makes me feel even better about it because of his turnover nature. Sure, the rushing ability is something you're going to have to stop, but I'd load up the box and dare him to beat me with the pass, which he's capable of. We've seen pop plays this season, but not consistently. I have the Jets winning this game 28-13. I think old Anthony Richardson there is going to be turnover prone, and the Jets defense will take advantage, which will create short fields. I think it's going to be a good day for the New York Football Jets. Pop, thanks for filling in today. We appreciate it. Now you're in travel mode with everything that's going on, but got to see PE3, got to show everybody and introduce him to the universe, the digital world here, which was great. And I'm glad you were here for the show, and I love doing this each week.
All right. Great day, great CMP3, and let's go Jets. Prove me wrong, please.
There we go. We can only hope so. There's the Esden Zone joining us. Let's play a quick Hep song to get us in the spirit of a Super Bowl season with Boy Green, baby. And we'll open up the phone lines. Again, it's Jets Colts game day, baby. Your calls and so much more. So many great super chats and memberships so far. Again, we're only 20 members away from Phil getting his friggin' emoji, baby. Let's get the juices flowing. It's been a nice run today with members. Let's see what else we could do. Let's play a quick Hep song. We'll open up the phone lines next, right here on Boy Green Daily.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. You're talking Jets football, man.
We are talking Jets football all day, every day. Welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. Welcome to Boy Green Daily. It's great to be back. And again, if you missed it yesterday, I explained why I was absent, laid all the cards on the table, some scary stuff with the family, but we powered through. I'm back. I love being back. I miss this friggin' show, baby. So thanks everybody for all of their thoughts and love and everything. Again, if you'd like to call into today's show, it's on youtube.com/boygreen25. Y'all can call into the show, share your game day predictions, and God knows what else, because we always get some extracurricular activity. And it's youtube.com/boygreen25. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you have to hop on over to YouTube to be able to call into today's program. So let's keep the good times rolling, baby. And let's see what's happening and what is popping. All right, let's go to the phone lines and go to Boy Hep here joining us here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey guys, hey Paul. I had a feeling, and when you came on, I said something's wrong here, and I said, and I didn't see you. I said I just had a feeling, and I dropped a prayer for you and your family that day.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm so glad that it came out. Everything's on the upside here. That's what's wonderful. Now I was thinking about the Jets today, and we still, if we win out, we're going to make the playoffs. I mean, that's still, and what is it, 7 games?
Yeah, it's 7 games left. That's right. They're 3-7. If they won out, they'd be 10-7. And again, we looked at the numbers. Every team that has won 10 games over the last 3 years, AFC or NFC, have made the playoffs. And I think that's because of the expansion of the 7 teams. So there is absolutely a path. But I mean, it's winning out path. That's a path.
I would say the biggest issue is getting gashed up the middle. If we stop that, then I think we could actually have a chance to do it. But anyway, that put aside.
Sure. Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, I'm thinking of a good idea for a show for you. It would be called the New York Jets organization is the equivalent of the Jerry Springer Show.
Oh wow, yeah,
and
that
then
feels about right.
Yeah, and then just bring up throughout the whole history all the craziest moments, like Sad Sack Zach or Bug-Eyed Gase or
mononucleosis, jaw getting broken. I mean,
the butt fumble.
Butt fumble, of course.
I see ghosts. I played
People
to win
wouldn't
the
believe
game.
that. I know.
We could go on for like probably a whole hour of all the craziest moments, in Jets history.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad. I'm gonna have a breakfast sandwich, a cup of coffee, watch the game. It's gonna be nice today. All right, guys. Peace out.
Thanks for calling in, Hap. Appreciate you, buddy. And MFC, we've re-signed the key member. There's a lot of Jet free agents coming up. MFC, he's been re-signed. Yes. And let's drink some coffee up. We are 19 members away from Phil getting his emoji. So thank you to MFC for re-signing on the dotted line. Beautiful. We love to see you, buddy. And welcome back to the program. Thanks for Hep for calling in. Excellent. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. We've got M. What's up, M?
Hey, good morning, man. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, bud. Congratulations on that baby, man. Baby.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, remember, well, you might not remember, but I called in week 1, Thursday night after that.
Yes.
You remember, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of things.
Sure.
Nothing has changed, right? And I want nothing more than the Jets to be successful. I mean, it dictates my entire week. Unfortunately, my 2 little girls were always dressed up in Jets gear.
Hey.
Bring back they all have Sam Darnold shit, so it'd be ideal for him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Let's get some extra use.
I might be way off base here, but this has been my thought process for a while.
Right.
I feel like the team embodies Aaron Rodgers' nonchalant attitude. Now, Aaron Rodgers has this attitude. I mean, he has the credentials, he has the background. Sure. Have this not, but it's the defense. These young players when they talk on social media or they talk to just the media in general, it's like, we'll be okay. Just relax. We're gonna get it. And you're not that guy yet. Like you're young. You're just getting your feet wet. A couple years in the league, you can't follow in the footsteps of Aaron Rodgers because there's only one Aaron Rodgers.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people make this criticism that obviously, it's been the last 3 years. So not this year. So this year is the third year, I guess. But the first two, we have the great Jets defense, we have the great special teams, and all we say to ourselves as fans, boy, get a quarterback. Watch out, world. And then last year we thought we had him. Aaron Rodgers goes down, and then the great defense all year. And then I think the team might have said, well, all we need is Aaron Rodgers, that we can lean back, because I heard the Jets defense last year just say all the time that we can't even give up a touchdown or else we could lose. And,
right.
For a lot, they were kind of right that, all the, like the Falcons game, losing 13-8, they give up 13 points and somehow lost. So I can only imagine how frustrating that was. And I think the Jets defense, whether subconsciously or consciously, they took their foot off the gas. It's sweet. We don't got to play like that. That was incredibly difficult for us to play to that level last year. And now Aaron Rodgers is going to score like 20 points a game or something. All year we're going to be fine. And I think they have gotten complacent, lackadaisical, whatever the word is. And the fact of the matter is, I would think that, we're already 10 weeks of the season through. We're heading into week 11 today for the Jets anyway. You would think that they'd be like, okay, obviously we can't rely on that anymore. We need to go back to our shit. And we just haven't seen it. So, yeah, I don't know if it's laziness. I don't know what it is. But, yeah, it's been deflating to see that kind of energy, because you've seen it in the press conferences to everything that you're saying. Sauce, all these guys. Crazy.
And to your point, if you look back, remember on Hard Knocks, I remember a specific scene where Jeff Ulbrich is talking about, it doesn't matter. We're going to have Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Holding them to 2 touchdowns will be more than enough. And it's, I don't know. Just the whole thing has bothered me. I'm unfortunately, I'm one of the ones that didn't want Aaron Rodgers, and not because I didn't believe in his attributes or his talents I don't give a shit about his political cues.
Sure, I don't either. Score touchdowns. I don't give a shit what you believe in. Aliens, this. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Fuck. I'm a grown-ass man. If I take my social cues from somebody else, I have more issues.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's just.
So let me ask you a question. I guess I could assume the answer based on what you just said. But do you want Rodgers back next year in 2025?
Absolutely not. I mean,
okay. No.
Here's the deal. I don't think. He seems like the type of guy, and we all know people like this in our life, that I don't want to say the word condescending, but just will bring you along and be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're going to do this and do this. And then it's like, yeah, you reach out and you don't get the text message back. Does that make sense? And it's
I hear you.
I don't know if he would be right. Like, talent-wise, he's always great to learn from.
Sure.
But I don't know if he would be better to watch on tape than to be around a younger, newer quarterback. I mean, I don't know personally. It's just a gut feeling, but I could be completely wrong. I'm a Jet fan. What the fuck do I know? Listen, enjoy that, baby. Thanks so much for taking my call. You have a great show. All right?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I appreciate you. And yeah, man, it's blessed. I kept picturing myself yesterday, just looking like I had a baby in my hand. I've got a daughter who turns 3. I'm just like, oh my God, look at all this. This is crazy. But to M's point, though, the interesting thing is the Jets quarterback decision. As we talked about with the Rich Cimini list, the only 2 starters that are set to be free agents next year are scheduled are Russell Wilson's old ass and Sam Darnold's 27, 28-year-old ass. First off, is Sammy going to come back here? Do we want Sam back here? I don't know. I kind of want it back for my jersey, get some more use out of that. But like Sam Darnold's kind of turned into the pumpkin the last couple of weeks with those turnover issues we've seen in the past. So who'd you prefer, Sam Darnold or Aaron Rodgers? And then again, 2 other guys might hit the market. That's Derek Carr and Daniel Jones. I'm not saying I like either of those. I'm just saying that was in the Rich Cimini list. I don't want Daniel Jones. No, thank you. I saw enough in Giants land. No, thank you. And then Derek Carr, I've seen a lot of bad. It seems like, he just doesn't have the same chutzpah that Rodgers does. But Rodgers, by the way, hasn't been great either. But I think Aaron Rodgers, when I look at the list, I think he's our best option for 2025. Now, to M's point, is he the best guy to learn from? Is he going to be open to it? Now, he wasn't open to it a couple years ago. Is he more open to it now that he's older? He's 40, turns 41 next month. Is he more open to being, hey, I'll be the guy for 2025? I've got some first-round young kid learning from me. If he's open to that is what I think is the best plan for the now and the future. Aaron Rodgers is the best possible quarterback we could have for 2025, realistically. We can't have Mahomes or something like that. I think Rodgers is your best guy for 2025. But I want a guy developing. I want a guy ready. I want someone in the bullpen. And to me, that's going to come in the first round of the draft. We'll see ultimately where the Jets pick in that draft. But that's, to me, the ultimate plan. If I could pick it, Aaron Rodgers is our starter in 2025. You have some first-round rookie learning from him, and then the torch is passed at some point. That's my plan. All right, let's go back to the phone lines and go to boy EZ here on the program. What's up, EZ? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. So I too was thinking about the Jets, and then I was wondering to myself, why am I thinking about the Jets?
It's something we should all be asking ourselves. Quite frankly.
Yeah. Oh God. There was a report that I read this morning on YouTube saying that Douglas knows he's gone now, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of official that he's gone.
Yeah, I got to see where that was from, the original report, because I saw something about Joe Douglas and the Ravens. Let me see if I can find that. I thought there was a let me see who. Yeah, let me see. I saw it on Jet Nation, so let me see what.
Up until this past off season, I thought Joe D was really, really good. This past off season, blowing up our defensive line, that's what killed us. I'm convinced of it, because he should have just rolled it back. He was going to roll. Everything was going to roll back with Aaron Rodgers. He should have rolled back with the defense. Yeah. And that's what happens. I mean, sometimes they say the best trade you do is the one you don't.
Sure.
So, I mean, losing JFM and losing Huff, even though Huff hasn't been anything good on the Eagles, he was good in our scheme.
That's true.
That's the thing. He was good. We counted on it. Every time Huff was on the field with the Jets, he was 10 times more likely to get pressure on the quarterback than not. So, whatever, we had it figured out for that kid. Now, was he worth 14 million? Maybe not. And he wasn't going to take the team discount. So they let him go. I could see that. But
I think he ended up with like 17 mil. I think what Huff ended up with.
I didn't even see him playing in the past couple of games, and he was on the sideline.
Yeah,
because I saw
his snap percentage was really down. I was just reading an article from ESPN, because it looks like the Eagles are going to move on from him after the year, which is crazy. He's played like less than 20% of the snaps the last 3 weeks. So yeah, they're phasing him out.
I mean, they haven't. Yeah, he's been benched. So I don't know what the story is, but they're not using him right. Our offensive line, I think, is going to be better this week now that we got Olu starting.
Yeah, left tackle. I can't wait to see it. I'm happy for the kid.
But you know what's amazing to me? He played really good at guard.
Yeah, for someone who just randomly got in there, that was pretty crazy. Yeah.
Isn't Becton kicking ass at guard, though, on the Eagles?
He is, yeah.
He's doing really good at guard.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe he's just not, because of his size, he may not be fast enough to be a tackle anymore.
Yeah,
maybe because of his knees, and maybe he's better. Well, yeah, he's sandwiched between a center and a tackle now, and all he has to do is just be a big monster and push people around. He doesn't have to worry about people running an edge on him and everything.
Well, if he was a little more open to that in Jets land, maybe he's still here. Who knows what it could have been? But he was all like, I'm a left tackle, and then again,
he went to the Eagles and they told him, "You're a discard. You're what we say you are."
And he went, "Yes, sir." And then he did with it, and they were like, "Oh, okay, geez." Yeah. But no, I'm glad that Fashanu, in the moment, a position he's never played in his life, look halfway decent. That's good to know. And I hope he's our left tackle for the next 10 years. I hope he's our DeBrickashaw Ferguson, because I really like the kid. I like how he was raised, from what we heard, from his moxie and everything about it. Yeah, I think he's going to be really good today, and hopefully he's the left tackle from now's the passing of the torch all the way through the end of time, basically. So
I've never heard from you. You've heard from everybody. Who are your top 3 head coach wishes?
That's great. Yeah, I haven't talked about it a lot. Todd Monken is my number one guy. He's like 57, 58. He's the Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. He's been an offensive coordinator in 6 different places. He's older, but not old, not too old, right? There's like Belichick's in his 70s, for God's sake. So he could realistically, Monken could coach for 10, 15 years, not even a question about it, which would be great. He's never been an NFL head coach. He's been a head coach.
And he's an older guy, so he won't coddle the players like a player coach kind of
That's
thing.
Exactly what I'm looking at. Exactly. You're right on the temperature of what I like about him. He's been a head coach before at the college level, Southern Miss. He turned that program around. He's had great offenses regardless. It's not like so people criticize Sean Payton because he's this great offensive mind, but had Drew Brees forever. Like Tom Monken has looked good with Lamar Jackson, obviously, the MVP season he's having right now. He's looked good with Jameis Winston at quarterback back in his Buccaneers days. So, wow, that's pretty impressive. He won 2 national championships at the college level with Stetson Bennett. So, like, that to me is what I love. I love that he's done it in a lot of different places. I love that he's done it with a lot of different quarterback talent, regardless of seemingly who's been in there. He's gotten the most out of it and some. So Monken would be my number one choice. Now, the Jets, apparently he got deep in the process back in 2019 when the Jets hired Gase, and they went with Gase over him. Now, if he has any ill will towards that, maybe not. Maybe he won't. But there's only 32
that was Chris
jobs
Johnson.
in the NFL.
That was Chris Johnson, not Woody Johnson.
Right. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping that that bygones are bygones, and he hasn't been an NFL head coach since, and he would get this opportunity. Right. So he'd be number one on the list. Vrabel, I'd probably put at number 2. Now I love Vrabel's moxie. I love there's no bullshit with him. He's the straight shooter, and he's going to clean up the bullshit that's here with the Jets. Now,
kind of reminds me of the guy on Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, for
Lions
sure. Yeah, Dan Campbell. Absolutely.
Like I'll cut your knees off and just chew you up and spit you out, that kind of thing.
He does not F around, so he would make a lot of sense. Now, I'd have to know who his offensive fire is.
That's why I liked Rex.
Guy. Well, Rex, right? He is a no bullshit guy. So I love it for the same reason for defense.
But he's also a player's coach at the same time.
True.
That was the magic of Rex. He was a player's coach, but then again, he didn't take your bullshit either. He'd bench your ass in a second.
Oh, 100%. But I want to know who the offensive guy is with Vrabel, because if you're the defensive guy, I love that. He's a leader. I have no questions about that. But who is his offensive guy? What's his plan? That would be important. And I'd probably put Ben Johnson in the top 3. Does he want to come here? Who knows? You got to at least swing. The concern with Ben Johnson is he's never been a head coach before, so you're taking a wild swing and hoping that it hits. And hey, Sean McVay hit, and the Rams won a Super Bowl. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it flames out. I
noticed you didn't say Gruden or Rexy.
I did not. Now, I don't know if Rex really returning, would that be really a direction Woody goes? Maybe. I love John Gruden. I know a lot of people have problems with some of his off the field curricular activities, but I love his offensive mind. He's been around everyone. He's been around so many great people forever. Now, as Matt O'Leary pointed out, I saw his video on Gruden. Gruden's success in the NFL is 20 years old. Like, he didn't have great success with the Raiders. And so if we're selling the John Gruden story, we're selling the mid-2000s. Like, the year that he won the Super Bowl, Matt O'Leary reshared this story on his video. John Gruden, the year they won the Super Bowl in the early 2000s with that Bucs team, they didn't run one single snap out of shotgun. So, like, today's NFL is a totally different NFL now. Not that John Gruden can't adapt, but, like, it's just a different world. So I like Gruden a lot. I'd be interested to see if the Jets would even kick the tires on somebody like that. But, yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me. Some of these guys I would love to bring back, but at their position coach excellence, like, I would love to see Rex as our defensive coordinator. I would love to see a guy like Gruden as our offensive coordinator, or somebody else. It's a lot harder to get an OC as an OC, because if they're going for a raise or a promotion, you can talk to them. Like, if we tried to poach someone from another successful team who's an offensive coordinator to bring them here, that team has the right to say, oh, no, we're keeping our OC if you're just going to make him. Now, if you want to make him a head coach, yeah, we'll let you talk to him. But my dream team is Vrabel as head coach.
Okay.
Or Gruden as head coach.
Sure.
Those are my 2. I would love to see Rex Ryan as our defensive coordinator, because I think he's the type of guy that makes players play better than they actually are. And with the talent we have, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of personality, though. So if they could contain all that personality, I'm all for it.
Well, I don't know. No one has ever No one has ever asked Rex Ryan point to point, you are a Jet fan. You love the Jets. You've been their head coach. Would you be willing to come back to the Jets as a defensive coordinator if it meant that your beloved Jets would win a Super Bowl?
Of course. And
he might say yes to that question.
He might. Again, some people would call it crazy because would a guy come back to the same team? And the answer is yes. Vance Joseph was the head coach of the Denver Broncos. He gets fired. It goes horribly. He goes somewhere else, and he eventually comes back. He's the Broncos defense coordinator, and the defense for the Broncos has been terrific. So it's not impossible for that sort of thing to happen. I think it would have to pair with the right head coach. So again, Vrabel would be, I don't know what Vrabel and Rex Ryan's history is, but Vrabel has no BS. So I think he could work with Rex Ryan, and that would be fine. But if you have kind of a wimpy head coach, you have Rex Ryan, his juice
Rex
could
is
overpower.
definitely not a wimp. He's
No. I'm not saying
not
Rex
a
is
wimp.
a wimp.
Oh, my God.
I'm not saying Rex is a
No.
wimp. I'm saying so let's say Rex says, yeah, I'd love to be the DC. And you have some head coach that's wimpy in personality that Rex could overwhelm him with his everything that like Rex Ryan is a certain kind of man. And if you're not on your own shit, you can
He worked under
cave to that.
Harbaugh. He worked under John Harbaugh when he was with the Ravens.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
So,
Harbaugh is awesome. He's a
Yeah.
leader. He's a big guy. Vrabel, leader, big guy. I'd be curious if I don't even know. I don't even know who the.
I don't think Rex would have a problem coming back if he was offered the job. At least I would wish that he would come back. I do like the 4-3 better than the 3-4, but at this point, if Rex can get production out of the players we have, I would love it, because I guarantee you if Rex was here, he'd be running a hell of a lot more man coverage, and he'd be blitzing the crap out of him with our speed guys like Sherwood.
Sure.
And come on now, Sherwood and Quincy.
Mm-hmm.
You could this team is tailor made for Rex to have to do blitz packages on defense. Tailor made for him. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like the choices. Yeah, I like the choices, Easy, and yeah, like NC said here, this is what I'm trying to say. Vrabel is strong enough to carry Rex as his DC. I'm just saying that if you have a guy, and I don't want to just label somebody, but if you have a head coach who is quiet, he's not loud, he's quiet, and he doesn't command a presence, whoever this head coach is, and then you have Rex, you hire him as your DC, the Rex, if he sees bullshit, he's going to call out bullshit. And then the head coach could be like, oh, geez, I guess. And then all of a sudden you can have a power issue. So I think the key is if you were going to have Rex in this world, I say imaginary because I just don't know how realistic it is. But if he wants to come back, everyone loves Rex. You got to look at there it is over that shoulder. This shoulder, play like you mean it. Rex Ryan, I freaking love Rex Ryan. I got his book right over my shoulder. I love Rex, but it would have to be paired with the right head coach like Vrabel. And I have to think like Ben Johnson is a good example. Like Ben Johnson has not been a head coach before. I don't know what his personality is. I haven't hung out in a room with him. How would he and Rex Ryan vibe? Not sure. But in theory, it would be great because Ben Johnson's offense, Rex Ryan's defense, that could be fun. We'll see if something like that were to happen. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got NY Jets FL here on the show. What's up, pal?
Welcome back, Paul. Welcome back.
It's great to be back, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In peaceful mind, of course. You know, with more ease in your life, of course.
Yeah.
Paul, can you pull up the I'm going to pull over. Can you pull up the Broncos schedule? Because I don't think they're going to sniff the playoffs this year. Let's just say that.
Okay. Which, by the way, would be great for me because that's the team that's in front of the Jets. Okay, we got the Broncos schedule here. Here we go. So here's the schedule the rest of the way. Okay.
Yep.
So they've got today's the 17th. Okay. So they got the Falcons at home today. Okay.
Not easy.
No, not at all. I think it's a coin flip game. Next week at Las Vegas. Okay.
Should win.
Yeah, they should. Home for Cleveland the week after that.
Who knows with that one. Maybe they can win. Maybe they can win that 2-1.
They have a bye week. And then they have
win in that one.
That's true. Although the Jets have had different stories here. Okay, and here's the final four. This is where it gets a lot tougher. You're home for Indianapolis. Okay, it's a tough.
Maybe a win.
Yep. At Los Angeles Chargers. Oof, they've been playing awesome. At Cincinnati Bengals. Trouble. And then home for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, boy, they're 5-5 right now. I could see 5-6, 7, 5, 8. Yeah, I could. Boy, this team could be a 7-8 win team. I don't know. It'll depend. Like the Vegas, they should win. Cleveland, who knows? Colts, who knows? So there's like three. Well, I guess I'll put Falcons in there too. But like Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs, I would have the Broncos losing all three of those games. But Who knows? Broncos were close against the Chiefs the first time, I guess. But all of a sudden, if you lose those three, then you're like a 9-win team. If they're 5-5, if they have 3 more losses, the best they could be is 9-8. And then if they lose any of those gimmies, then you're right. So that's a team in front of the Jets. So they're. So let me pull this back up. I have the standings on one of these sheets. Okay, here we are. So if the Broncos, to your point, only win 9 games, they're out. The Jets beat the Colts, they're out. And then the only 2 teams ahead are the Bengals, Dolphins. You have to beat the Dolphins to flip. You'd beat them. And then be on conference tiebreakers, which right now, let's see, the Jets have more conference wins than the Bengals, i.e., Jets there. Boom, there's the path.
You said it very so smoothly, like, hey, let's
That's
go.
it.
Let's
That's all we have to do. Exactly.
Paul, Anthony Richardson is a horrendous quarterback. He was horrendous in college. The only reason, he's a very inaccurate thrower in college. He wasn't a good thrower.
He's inaccurate in the NFL. He's got a 44% completion percentage. Good Lord, that's on the season, man.
Right. I would do whatever Zip. I would just come out and blitz the hell out of him and then let him. I mean, not every play, but why would you give him any chance to drop back, look at the field for 3 seconds, and then run in these huge, pass rush lanes? I would just get all over him, and whatever we're doing on defense is not working.
Clearly.
So let's just try something different. I mean, let's come out with a completely different game plan. Hello. And, adjust during the game. Hello, if we can, because it doesn't seem to be happening. And your dad was 100% right about Rodgers. I mean, all these underneath routes, they're not doing anything. They're incomplete. The defense knows what we're doing. Rodgers is, I don't know
thing
what's
that's annoying
really
to me about the Rodgers thing is it was with the plan that we currently have where he's not taking shots. That means if the Jets want to score touchdowns, every drive has to be 10, 11, 12, 13 plays with this underneath bullshit, which opens up all kinds of opportunities as Jet fans to fuck up somewhere. A pick, a deflected ball, a fumble, a this, a that. Sometimes it doesn't always go accordingly. When you can get the big play, it's a 1-play drive, 50-yard touchdown. Okay, bing, boom, bam. We got 7 points up there. The Jets just make the simple shit really difficult. And that's a thing that is incredibly frustrating. So I hope they start taking shots. I hope they zig when others are zagging here because it's been difficult.
Paul, would you think about Justin Fields as a bridge quarterback, possible fringe starter for us?
I mean, if Rodgers is gone,
better on this team. This team would be a playoff team.
If what? We had Justin Fields, you think?
Yes. 100%. Look at all the athletic quarter. Look at Kyler Murray. I mean, I'm not going to compare. I'm not saying he's as good as Kyler, but
sure.
The kind of style he runs, he can scramble. He's not the greatest thrower, but he can manage a game, and the threat of the run is there. I think he could be a decent stopgap if Rodgers isn't coming back.
Yeah, because if Rodgers doesn't come back, we are left with Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Travis. And then we just mentioned all of the options. So to your point, there's Justin Fields, there's Mac Jones, there's Russell Wilson if he escapes Pittsburgh, there's Sam Darnold, and then the other 2 that are going to be probably cut, according to Rich Samini, and put into that pool are Derek Carr and Daniel Jones. By the way, no thanks on either. So Justin Fields will be interesting because he'd probably be dirt cheap, to be honest. It's a 1-year deal. It's kind of like the Baker Mayfield contract he got on the 1-year attempt, and then it launched into the much bigger deal. Sure, we can't shut that down.
Paul, please no Sam Darnold. That would be like divorcing your wife and remarrying her again. I mean, what are we doing?
Rekindle the flame.
Gosh, dang it. Anyway, good to see you. Oh, one more thing. On the way out, Joe Douglas, I think the Fasciano pick will in time will turn out to be one of his better draft picks, quite honestly. Because I think that kid's a stud, and he just needs a little more seasoning. But you could see the raw, the talent and the mindset of that guy. I mean, I love Brock Bowers coming out, but I think the Olu pick is going to turn out to be one of his better ones. Let's say that.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for calling into the show. Real quick before we go back to the phone lines, this is the report. I guess I missed this yesterday. This is from U Stadium on the Joe Douglas story. The expectation is the Jets and Joe Douglas will part ways once the season ends. His contract runs out. That's not breaking news. Douglas, apparently, according to U Stadium, could end up back in Baltimore as part of the Ravens front office where he began his career. Sources tell U Stadium he's already looking for real estate in the Baltimore area. Not a bad idea because he ain't coming back. And Jets are expected to run a wide open search for a GM and a head coach. None of that surprised me, but apparently he's looking for houses in Baltimore. Good, because there ain't going to be any houses here in New Jersey, buddy boy. So look for new real estate. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got our favorite Iowa Hawkeye fan, Alan, joining us here on the show. What's up, Alan?
Hey, Paul. First of all, I hope you feel better.
Thank
love
you.
the shot of your son. Better you than me.
Yeah.
Again, listening to you talk about today's game shows that you actually don't give a shit about the season anymore.
What?
I know it. You don't care. If
I
they
do.
lose today,
I'm in, baby.
We're
going 10-7.
If they lose today, you couldn't give a shit, honestly. Okay.
It would be hard with all the tiebreakers at 9-8. It'd probably be over.
Come on, their season's over. It's fine.
But they're going 10-7, so they're going to be fine.
I do laugh when you and Ted talk about tiebreakers. It's kind of comical. It's kind of funny. It's hilarious. Okay. Could I see them win today? Yes. Could I see them lose today? Yes. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Place will be half empty. It'll be about 40,000 in the building. Who gives a shit? My wife, who doesn't even know how to spell football, is like, "What time's the Bills game today? I want to watch that." My wife loves Mahomes and loves Josh Allen, so all she cares about is what time that game is today. Recently saw an interview with Jahmyr Gibbs. He was on a Richard Sherman podcast, and he was talking about his love of Ben Johnson and how he begs Ben Johnson to come back every day, how much he loves him so much. And it makes me pray to God somehow, some way he comes here with Ray Agnew and they clean house. Don't think it'll happen, but that would be the perfect scenario.
Sure.
Another thing about Todd Monken, I think I recently read an article on Badlands that the idea that he got passed over by Adam Gase, I guess, still sticks in his craw. And I don't think he's coming here. I just don't.
Well, I hope that isn't, because like I said, even if it is, like, it'd be one thing if he's like, F you, I've got a million other head coaching offers. He's never been an NFL head coach. So I'd be kind of curious to see. Maybe that does miff him, because I don't know. I wasn't in that room.
I think it does. And and again, I look at the offseason jobs right now. I think the Jets are the fourth best job. I think the Bear job is a better job than the Jets. I think I do. I think that's where Ben Johnson ends up. Absolutely.
Wouldn't that be something? Staying in the NFC North and giving it back to the Lions twice a year? Wow.
I could see him ending up there. I think the Jaguar job is actually better than the Jet job.
Oh, come on.
I do.
Trevor Lawrence just signed that disgusting contract. There's no way, man.
If you're Todd Monken, the opportunity to coach a quarterback that has not been coached well the last few years, I could see him taking that job. Okay. And I think the Cowboy job is a better job than the Jets. I really do. Even though I do.
Come on, Captain Dak Prescott, $60 million.
I live in this shit show. Yeah, I think they're a better job than the Jet than the Jet job.
Wow.
Again,
who else am I missing? Is there anybody else? So we got a Cowboy.
I think the Jet job might be better than the Giants job.
I appreciate the might on that. It
may not. You know what? Giants actually have some talent, and they have a quarterback coming off the books, and most likely they'll have a top 3-4 pick, so they might get one of the two quarterbacks. So you never know. That might be a better job than the Jets. I think the same job is the worst job right now. I wouldn't even touch that job. That is the worst job right now. I would not want that job. As far as the Jets are concerned going forward, I'm with your dad. I have absolutely no interest in bringing Rodgers back. Unfortunately, I don't think Woody Johnson has the balls to tell his quarterback it's time to move on. And that's the problem. Aaron Rodgers had his moment, had a couple of moments this year in the win against the Patriots, the second half against the Texans. Texans. But you know what? Do I really want to bring back a 41 going on 42-year-old quarterback? Nah, not really. I know it would cost them $49 million to cut him. And what, $14 million if they cut him this year, and $35 million cap if they use it next year. But honestly, I think it's time. There's really no need to bring him back. I'd rather have a stopgap guy for under 10 million and draft a quarterback and maybe have him ready by 26, 27. Again,
So who's your
if
starting
you're-
quarterback next year?
it's a tough one to say. I mean, could I see a Minshew getting a job for a couple of months? Maybe. I know it's garbage. I understand that. I really do. I just don't want Aaron Rodgers back. It's too much.
Okay.
Again, you worry every day. I mean, you watching him play. It's not the same quarterback. It looks like he's running in quicksand sometimes. Doesn't have the same zip on his deep ball. Just the mobility is just not there anymore. And I worry if you're going to rely on a 41, 42-year-old quarterback, he takes one hit, he's out for the season, and then you're stuck with nobody, honestly. So, but again, I'd rather just move on and see what you can get out of the draft. As far as the draft is concerned, I hope they don't reach for a quarterback. If they fall in the 8 to 12 range, I'm not taking anybody else besides maybe Ward or Sanders, and both those guys might go in the top 5. I'm not reaching for a Beck or a Ewers or an Aller at that point. I'd rather wait till round 2 to get them.
I'm glad that you said that just because I want to say this, because sometimes when you say things, not you, the general say things, it's that for me, like I want to take a first round quarterback in theory, but I don't want to Christian ponder it like, well, I guess you got to take somebody here. Like, definitely not. If there's someone you're in love with, whoever this new regime's going to be, then let's go. But if there isn't, absolutely not. Trade back, fill another spot, do something else. So don't just 1,000%, no matter what, under any circumstance, somebody is being drafted. Just you're to your point, depending on how this goes, there are games here for the Jets. Like, okay, it's unlikely.
They're 6-11, 7-10. I think that's what they'll end up.
And that's what I mean, right? It's unlikely that the Jets are going to completely win out and go 10-7. The chances of that are incredibly small, but the chance of them losing out is incredibly small unless it just implodes. And I can't even imagine the scenario where they finished 3-14. God knows whatever that's going to be. So, like, to me, it has to be, if it's somewhere in the middle, that's where you kind of get into your purgatory of what you said of like you're not bad enough to get one of the top guys, but you're sort of hanging in the middle. So it'll be tough.
I could see the Jets going 3-1 at home down the stretch and maybe losing all 3 of their road games. I could see them losing in Buffalo, in Miami, in Jacksonville. I could see them losing in Jacksonville. I could see them losing to one of the NFC West teams at home.
Could be.
Whether it's Seattle or the Rams.
Sure.
And finally, today's a day that I will watch the Jets on Red Zone. I actually have no interest in watching them. I'd rather watch the Steelers and Ravens at 1 and wait for the Bills Chiefs later. And give me your prediction of that game today. Bills Chiefs.
Bills Chiefs. So I've gone back and forth on this because, like, whenever you could get the Chiefs as an underdog, I mean, that's just juicy. I mean, they're friggin' undefeated, for God's sakes. But the Bills obviously dominated the regular season. Officially on the radio show, I'll stick with the pick I made on the radio show. I'm picking the Chiefs. And the most likely headline on Monday is Chiefs squeak out unbelievable victory once again in some bizarre scenario that, a ref call here or this, that, there, that somehow the Chiefs feel inevitable. They just are winners. They find ways to win. Obviously, look at that Broncos game last week. So I think that's likely. Again, Bills could totally win this game. They've won all these against the Chiefs in the past. This Chiefs team is looking incredibly vulnerable. But to me, the most likely thing is the Chiefs squeak out another victory and they continue their undefeated ways.
I'll go opposite with you. I think the Bills win today, even though they're without one of their best weapons in Dalton Kincaid. I think Allen is money against the Chiefs in the regular season, and I don't think he continues it today. I think they win double digits. But Paul, it's been a pleasure, and I wish you didn't have a kid so you and your dad could enjoy Notre Dame Army at Yankee Stadium next week. That's going to be a fun environment. So always a pleasure, man.
Thank you, Alan. I appreciate you. Yeah, that would be great. It would be awesome. It'd be awesome to go there. But I'll take the new son. I'll take the new son over the game. The game would have been cool, but for sure. All right, let's get one more call in before we wrap it up. It is the guy that can't be imitated. But sometimes you might try to imitate him, but you can't. Neil Sr. joins us on the show. What's going on, Neil, on a game day?
What's up? Happy game day here.
Yes,
Beautiful day in New York.
it
Getting
looks
ready
like it.
for Oh my God, it's been an incredible fall here.
Hmm.
60 degrees. It's been golf weather all the way through.
Beautiful.
So nice to hear Alan talk about all the other teams, and he's not really doesn't really belong on any jet chats at all because all his takes are absolutely ridiculous. You asked him about who was going to be the quarterback next year, Gardner Minshew. I'm very excited about renewing my season tickets to watch Gardner Minshew. Okay, is that going
Yeah,
to excite you, Paul, to talk about
not
him
at
too?
all. No.
Okay, and
No.
in the draft, is there anybody that sticks out? Is there anybody in the draft that looks
Not that
so
I know
great?
of. No.
Nobody. Okay,
No.
so I know nobody wants to run it back with Aaron Rodgers, but there's two issues with Aaron Rodgers
Okay.
that people don't realize. A, he's coming off an Achilles, so
Sure.
let's give the guy a little bit of a break, on his mobility to say
Hmm.
that the guy, it's an easy take to say he's 41 years old and he's washed.
Right.
That's an easy take, Paul. And you could have said that about Brett Favre when he was on the Jets and he had a broken thing. It's very easy to say, we're not going to miss him. He stinks.
Hmm.
And then we all know what he did the year after he left us with Minnesota, right?
Yeah, to the Vikings NFC Championship game. It's
There
his
you
best
go.
touchdown
So
interception ratio of his career, 33-7. Yeah.
there you go. So I think, and I listened to one of my favorite guys to listen to who really knows about football, not like Alan, is Buffalo Jet fan.
Yeah.
BGF is incredible.
Hmm.
And he basically, one of the biggest problems we have, it's not just Aaron Rodgers.
Hmm.
It's Aaron Rodgers checking down, calling plays, trying to be the OC and the
Hmm.
quarterback, and kind of trying to do it all and putting a lot on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And what he has to come to grips with is the fact that we have to go into the modern offensive day with movement. We have to have shifting. We have to confuse guys because what I've been hearing is very simple. Him sitting there at the line trying to diagnose the defense gives the defense the same amount of 20 seconds to diagnose what he's trying to do. And it kind of is like a check and a checkmate. It really not working the way it would have worked maybe 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. So a lot of his offensive genius is kind of got passed by the change in the way the offenses are run by different teams because the defensive coordinators are smarter. They look at your tape. They know exactly what's happening. There's all analytics, but he's kind of stuck in this like check down heaven.
Yeah.
He's obviously look. He is definitely afraid. Not afraid. I shouldn't say he's afraid, but he looks very tentative in the pocket. But I will say that, I believe he's been dealing with some injuries. He's
Correct.
obviously dealt with some injuries. Okay. So
Yes,
when
definitely.
you're injured and you know that you might be one hit away from getting knocked out of a game, you're always going to be a little more tentative. You're not going to play your
Sure.
best football when you're injured.
Hmm.
Now, we saw Aaron Rodgers fresh and poppy and happy. And
Hmm.
really the only game he's been really, truly healthy in that he didn't get smashed around was the third game against the Patriots.
Correct.
And we look at that game, and you could, if I took a microcosm of the season and I said to you, and I played the tape for Allen or any of these other guys that say Aaron Rodgers is washed, like your dad, his dad say he's washed?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. You play that game and nothing else. And
Hmm.
you say, let me ask you a question. Does Aaron Rodgers look washed? And the answer would be no, wouldn't it, Paul? It would be a
Of course.
resounding no. It would say he
Yeah.
looks good. He doesn't. He's never going to be a top 10 quarterback at this at this age. Okay,
Hmm.
but what have we been saying the last 4 seasons with the roster we have? We need competent quarterback play.
Mm.
We don't need the top 4 quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl with the roster we have. Okay. We need a top 10 quarterback. We need a top 10 to 15 offense. Because
Hmm.
if our offense was top 10 to 15 and our defense wasn't dismantled by that fat, overrated idiot, that he's welcome to kick his ass out the door, I'm done with him. Okay. And I
Mm.
don't want to hear if Olu Fashino is going to be so great. That's not going to be on Joe Douglas, Paul. Do you know why?
Why's that?
Because he wanted Rome Odunze.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
That was his plan B, Olufashinu, not his plan A. So let's look at Rome Odunze's career before we go putting glitter all over Joe Douglas's chest hair. Okay, it's not. Look, his record is porous. But here's the bottom line from the coaching perspective. And Alan talks again, and I'm going to give another one of Alan's tremendously great takes about which team and which coach is going to come to us and who's going to want the job.
Yeah, Dunze only has 1 touchdown on the year. Not great.
Yeah, there you go. That's a Joe Douglas pick. Okay, now let's just go to the coaching carousel.
Sure, yeah.
BJF made another great point.
Mm-hmm.
A good coach,
Mm-hmm.
vis-a-vis Chucky,
Yeah.
Vrabel,
Sure.
Stefanski.
Okay. There's another good
Now,
one.
if Stefanski gets released, right now he has an option to get. He's going to be a hot commodity if he gets released.
For sure. I'd
Okay.
say. Yeah.
Now, if there's a choice between 3 teams and he has to work, if you're a great coach, you think you could do it all.
Of course.
Would you want to be under a general manager? Or if I say to you, and I'm Woody Johnson, I say, look, I'm going to be the ambassador for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm not really a football guy. I want to depend on somebody who's going to be the CEO of my team and take us to the next level. Do you think any good coach that you can hand the keys to instantly makes that job more attractive than him just becoming a coach for a different general manager? Would you agree with that statement?
Sure.
Okay. So bottom line is this. If we offer the top 2 or 3 coaching candidates the keys and become both the GM and the coach and the decision maker,
wow,
that becomes a much more desirable job for a coach than simply going to a team. Because look, the reality is every team that has an available coaching position all has flaws that may take a year or 2
Definitely.
or 3 years to go, right?
Yeah, of
So
course. Yeah,
if I'm a coach and I could say, okay, I could fix this offense. I'm going to change the offensive coordinator. I'm going to change the play calling. We're going to use more emotions. We're going to bring the offense into the 2025s. Okay. We're going to fix the defense a little bit, which has quality players on it. JJ will be back. We're going to, we still got Quentin. We got guys that are really now. I mean, the blessing that we have is, I think it's a blessing in disguise that Sauce sucks a little bit this year because he can't just sit there and go, I want my $25 million
That's
next
true.
year. You think he's really in that position come springtime to be
Definitely
saying
not.
that?
He's in a bad position. Right.
There you go. Okay. So the reality of these guys being subpar,
Yeah.
all right, and the fact that we know our history of giving guys the bag. I mean, Quentin Williams is not what he's been the last 3 seasons this year. I mean, he's playing better. Okay. I'd like to see him play more than 60% of the snaps, being we're a skeleton crew on the defensive line. I mean, could we see him play 80% of the snaps going forward? Because the reality is, would I rather see 80% of the snaps with Michael Clemens gets 80% of the snaps, or would you rather have Quentin Williams in? I would take Quentin Williams with one arm tied behind his back rather than see Michael Clemens. Okay. So the reality is we have players that are going to be less willing to hold us up for contracts and extensions. So we're good with that. JJ, again, if he played this year and he played great, we'd be looking to try to have to extend them or maybe have to deal with giving them a big contract.
Sure.
Same thing with Sauce. The one thing that I think we have a reasonable guy with is we have a reasonable guy with Garrett Wilson. And you got to realize something. Garrett Wilson, the last thing he wants is to start all over again and play with Gardner Minshew. Okay?
For sure,
He's
obviously,
gonna
yeah, right.
I mean, at the end of the day, we have 7 games left, right?
Correct.
And in reality, it's not far-fetched to say that in the next 7 games, and I will say this, okay? It's not far-fetched to say that Aaron Rodgers is going to end the year with over 3,500 yards passing, with over 25 touchdowns, possibly close to 30, and his picks are going to be down, in the second half, and possibly end up playing much better now that he has healthy offensive line that's going to be playing together the next 5 or 6 games instead of a battered, beaten up line. And if that happens, how do you not feel comfortable bringing him back again next year? Who's going to be better? Like I said, you asked that one the question. Who is better? There is none.
The answer is nobody, if we're being realistic, Neil. The answer is nobody. And yeah, all these numbers. Aaron Rodgers has 2,200 passing yards right now, 15 touchdowns, 7 picks, 7 games to go. He's averaging 225 a game, 225 passing yards per game. Do the math on that. 7 times 225. That puts you right below that 4,000 yard mark that you would have for him. Yeah, that'd put him right in that range, 15, 10. Yeah, the numbers would be very nice. They'd be very nice. I'd like it a lot. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. The 500 people that are watching live right now, I got to go feed my baby, brand new baby, which we appreciate. And then get ready for a Jets game day here. 500 people in the room live. Like the video, hit subscribe. We'll be back for the post-game show. It'll probably be around 6:30, somewhere in that ballpark. So keep an eye out. Could be a little earlier. But keep an eye out. We'll have a post-game show reacting to Jets Colts. What happens today? Again, I will reiterate my prediction. The Jets winning this game 28-13. Anthony Richardson turns over the ball a lot. He has more interceptions than he has touchdowns. He's completing 44% of his passes. That means 1 out of every 2 passes is when he throws a ball outside of his boat, 1 out of 2 times it's not hitting water. Anthony Richardson is not playing well. So, folks, that's what I say. Turnovers happen, and we make it happen. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you next time here in just a handful of hours after Jets Colts here on the show. Peace out.